Welcome back to the channel. So today in this video we are going to attempt question number 2 and question number 3 of exercise 2.3 chapter relations and functions of class 11th CBSE mathematics. Question number 2 states find the domain and range of the following real functions. Part number first is f of x is equal to negative modulus x. So here in this question we'll have to find the domain and range of these functions. So this is question number 2 part number first. Here we are given with a function f of x is equal to negative modulus x. Now in order to obtain domain and range of this function, let us plug in the values of x. Now suppose if value of x is equal to negative 2, then modulus x, that is mod of negative 2, will be positive 2, as modulus of any number, whether it be positive or a negative, is always a positive number. Now what will be f of x, which is equal to negative of modulus x? This will be equal to negative 2, and this negative 2 belongs to real numbers. Similarly, if we put x is equal to negative 1, we'll be having f of x equal to negative 1, which again belongs to real numbers. Now if we'll put value of x equal to 0, we'll be having f of x, which is equal to negative modulus x, will be equal to negative modulus 0, that's equal to 0. Similarly, if x is equal to 1, f of x, which is equal to negative mod of x, this will be equal to negative mod of 1, that will be negative 1. Similarly, for x is equal to 2, we'll be having f of x equal to negative 2. 0 belongs to real numbers, negative 1 is a real number, and negative 2 is also a real number. And we can continue in this very pattern. Thus, domain of this function, that is the input, it can be any real number. And what about range? The values of range will continue in this pattern up to infinity from 0. So the range of this function will be from negative infinity to 0. So the range in this case will be all real numbers from negative infinity to 0. From left side we'll be having this bracket, meaning that negative infinity obviously will not be included. And from this side we'll be having this bracket, meaning that 0 is included. Towards the next part. Part number second is f of x is equal to square root of 9 minus x squared. So this is question number 2, part number second. So we are given with a function f of x equal to square root 9 minus x squared. Now in order to find the domain and range of this function, let us put in different values of x and see what will be the output. Now this very column represents the value of x. This very column will be our f of x, that is equal to square root 9 minus x squared. And in this very column, we'll check whether the output, that is the value of y, is a real number or not. Now for value of x equal to 4, our function will be square root of 9 minus 4 squared. That will be equal to square root of negative 7, which is not a real number. For value of 3, we have square root of 9 minus 3 squared is equal to 0, which is a real number. Similarly, for value of 2, we have square root of 9 minus 2 squared, which will be equal to square root 5, which is a real number. For value of x equal to 1, we'll be having square root of 9 minus 1 squared. This will be equal to square root 8, which is again a real number. For x equal to 0, we'll be having square root of 9 minus 0 squared. This will be equal to square root of 9, which is equal to 3, which again is a real number. Now for value of x equal to negative 1, we'll be having square root of 9 minus negative 1 whole square, and this will be equal to square root of 8, which is again a real number. Next we'll put value of x equal to negative 2. This will give us square root of 9 minus negative 2 whole square, and this will be equal to square root of 5, which again is a real number. Similarly, for value of x equal to negative 3, we'll be having square root of 9 minus negative 3 whole square. This will be equal to 0, which again is a real number. And for value of x equal to negative 4, we'll be having square root of 9 minus negative 4 whole square, and this will be equal to square root of negative 7, which is not a real number. So from this table, we conclude that the domain of the function will be. Here you can see that we cannot plug in the values of x as 4 and negative 4 because their output is not a real number, as these functions are real functions. So our domain in this case will be all real numbers between -3 and 3 with these two values included. In the form of an interval, this domain can also be written as x such that x is greater than or equal to -3 but less than or equal to 3. Now what about range? As you know, range is the output. Here one can observe that the range goes from 0 to 3 on both the sides. So the range of this function will be all real numbers between 0 and 3 with these two included. This range in the form of interval can also be represented as x such that x is greater than or equal to 0 but less than or equal to 3. Towards the next question. Question number 3 is a function f is defined by f of x is equal to 2x minus 5. Write down the values of f of 0, f of 7 and f of -3. So here in this question we'll have to find the value of function at these three values of x. So here in question number 3 we are given with the function f of x equal to 2x minus 5. Now the first part is f of 0. So here we'll have to plug in the value of x as 0. So this will be equal to 2 times 0 minus 5 and that will be equal to -5. In part number second, we have value of x as 7. This will be equal to 2 times 7 minus 5 and this will be equal to 9. And for third part, we have value of x equal to -3. This will be equal to 2 times -3 minus 5 and that will be equal to -11. Hope this makes sense. Do subscribe the channel for more such content and thanks for watching.